Hello, Doctor. Today, our topic is lifelong education, accelerating sustainability. It is talking about ideological origin and implementation routes in China. Our team is made up of 4 persons: Zhang Xuan, Lu Wenhui, Dong Ningjie, and Rahim Abdul. This study will interpret the origin of the idea of lifelong education from both Western and Eastern perspectives, clarify the intertwined relationship between lifelong education and sustainability, and ensure the implementation routes, especially catering to China. So, we think there are 3 things to discuss from this topic. First, what is the origin of the thought of lifelong education, the West or the East? The second, what is the relationship between lifelong education and sustainable development? The third, what are the efficient implementation routes of lifelong education in China? Actually, the context of the topic is in China. We will use mixed methods to study it: literal research, qualitative analysis, quantitative analysis, and interdisciplinary research. This topic will be divided into 4 parts: the origin of the idea lifelong education, the interrelationship between lifelong education and sustainability, the dilemma of constructing Chinese lifelong education system, the implementation path for Chinese lifelong education system. First of all, we will explain the origin about the idea of lifelong education. It includes 3 parts. First, a Hellenistic origin. The second, an Oriental origin. The third, an axial age origin. Then, I will explain the interrelationship between lifelong education and sustainability. At present, people are facing such problems as global pandemic, global warming, sea level rise, and endangered species, and so on. The connotation of lifelong education has constantly enriched. It provides solutions, policy references, and implementation paths for the realization of sustainable development. Lifelong learning contributes to individual sustainability, which in turn contributes to social, economic, environmental, and cultural sustainability, facilitating to the ultimate goal of global development. Nowadays, the school education has been difficult to meet people's needs for knowledge learning, and the concept of lifelong education has emerged in response to the needs of times. Lifelong education refers to the education that runs through a person's life. It mainly includes preschool education, school education, and continuing education. Specifically, it covers family education, early childhood education, elementary education, secondary education, etc. Instead of ending with one's student life, lifelong education should run through the whole path of one's life. The Chinese lifelong education is becoming more and more important, but there are some dilemmas in constructing Chinese lifelong education system. First, the lack of completed rules and laws about lifelong education. The second, the resource imbalance of lifelong education. The third, a lack of effective communication. In recent years, Chinese educational community has paid more attention to the communication with the foreign educational community. Thus, the internationalization of education has been keep pushing forward. At the same time, the concept of lifelong education had a profound impact on all aspects of people's life and study. In order to solve the dilemmas for lifelong education of China, we try to find some solutions. It is suggested to learn from the relevant experience of Korean, combine the reality and demand of lifelong education of China, and improve the legal law rules of lifelong education, trying to combine the diploma education with the skill qualifications, training and the vocational training, thus forming a unique lifelong education system with Chinese characteristics. As to the current situation of unfair distribution of resources in China's characteristic education, it is suggested to learn from the mode of running open universities of UK, promoting the use of modern educational means such as television, broadcasting, computer networks, and so on, trying to establish different kinds of open education models for different age groups, different academic classes, different occupations, and covering the vast number of urban and rural areas. At the same time, we should also enhance inter-school exchanges and enhance the sharing of teaching resources. In order to stimulate the enthusiasm of lifelong education in society, it is recommended to strengthen the cooperation between government, business, community, and schools, to establish an organic learning community, and to promote the localization of lifelong education. First of all, the government should build more platforms for lifelong learning to narrow the restrictions on community colleges. Secondly, try to introduce some preferential policies and other favorable conditions which has a positive influence on the lifelong education system. Lastly, deepen exchanges and cooperation among the various departments, establishing a sound credit mutual recognition mechanism about credit transfer and accumulation, which allows for a more flexible implementation of the lifelong education system. Based on the research, we draw a conclusion. Learning from the advanced experiences of other countries, taking the actual educational model of China into account, we can come to the conclusion that the above three measures has to be taken in order to have a better Chinese lifelong education. In order to finish our research, we referred to the following information. That's all. Thank you.